Incoming Department of Government Efficiency Co-Chief Vivek Ramaswamy says the Trump administration plans deep cuts in government spending, including the Department of Education.
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government.
This with a standard of education in focus. According to an international study published in 2022, the U.S. ranked 9th in reading, 34th in math, and 16th in science out of 81 countries in subnational education systems. Tiffany Justice is the co-founder of Moms for Liberty, and she joins me now. Tiffany, good morning to you. So, bit of a unique situation here because insiders have floated your name as a possibility to lead the Department of Education. But at the same time, on many occasions, Donald Trump has said he wants to scrap the agency altogether, give education back to the states. So where are you on that? Getting rid of the Department of Education, a department that some feel you could lead?
Well, first of all, parents are the #1 driver of student success. Since I've been coming on Fox for the past 4 years talking about how parents were put in the back seat when it came to their kids' education, we need to put them in the driver's seat. And I know that President Trump believes that too. Ultimately, I believe the Department of Education should be shut down. Absolutely. Since it was created, we have only seen plummeting achievement scores, teachers' unions having more influence in our kids' education, and more global interference in our kids' education. It's no coincidence the fact that kids in Kenya are learning the same type of comprehensive sex education curriculum that they are in New Jersey. So we absolutely need to stop the waste at the federal Department of Education and put parents, again, back in the driver's seat. Local control is the most important thing, Carly, when it comes to education.
That's so interesting. Well, it's not impossible, but Trump's political path to abolishing the Department of Education is narrow, and many believe it would take 60 votes out of the Senate, which might not happen, probably would not. So if that doesn't happen, how do you think Donald Trump can improve the department if it stands?
Well, President Trump's been very clear about the fact that he wants to get rid of DEI. He wants to abolish critical race theory. He wants to stop the transgender insanity in our schools. We want to get back to common sense governance in the United States of America. We want more school choice. Parents have the fundamental right to direct the education of their children. They should have transparency into what their children are learning in school and ultimately have the choice as to where their child is educated. So President Trump is a really smart guy. He's made amazing picks so far in his cabinet, and I have no doubt that he will find many ways to accomplish the things that he has promised the American people that he will do.
I mean, I just read the stats: 9th in reading, 34th in math, and 16th in science out of 81 countries. You think about America, it's the #1 superpower in the world, which means that we should have the best education system out of all the countries, and that's not happening. Why is that? And also, how do you fix that for parents out there who are watching saying, I just want my child to get a good education and learn how to read, learn how to do math and science, and my school is failing? I mean, what would you tell them?
Parent involvement is the #1 driver of student success. Nothing the government can do can replace an active and involved parent in their children's lives. However, you are right. Only 1/3 of kids are reading on grade level in America's public schools, and about 80% of the kids that come into contact with the juvenile justice system are functionally illiterate. We are relegating these kids to a life of struggle and crime when we do not teach children how to read. So it's back to the basics, Carly, when it comes to education. If we did nothing else in our elementary schools in America, we should be teaching children how to read.
Okay, so you said that you wanted the Department of Education abolished, but if that doesn't happen and you are asked to be the secretary of it, would you say yes?
Oh, I think President Trump has a mandate from the American people to shrink the size of the federal government and to put the American people first. So I know he stands for parental rights, and I would do anything I could to help him to defend our parental rights at every level of government.
Tiffany Justice, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Carly.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.